Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. We're just going to cut right to the chase here. I've done cut this open off video, but let's have a look at this golf piston. Picked this up from HL Supply. I've ran a few golf pistons. Never really had an issue. I've shown in the last little video where I decided to change the piston out in this saw, and we're going to go over that in this video and get it fitted up to the saw temporarily, and then, you know, double check our squish, maybe compare it to the other piston, and maybe see what our next move is going to be on this thing. There's a little bit of reading information for you on golf pistons. The company JE, most of you that have ever got into building like larger automotive engines may recognize that company, but United States, Italy, and Taiwan, like I said, they're usually pretty nice piston, and I don't know, for some odd reason you can usually pick them up cheaper than, say, a Highway or Meteor. Right, enough of that. Let's pull it out of the package. And I've been waiting on this for a while, because for some reason every now and then USPS will we have a 50mm by 1.5 piston ring. Generally you either have a 1.2, which would have 2 rings, or a single 1.5, or you can get some cheaper pistons, and then some homeowner grade saws they'll have 2 1.5mm rings. A wrist pin. I wonder what kind of circlips we have. I bet they're in the bottom. They're down here. It's been a little bit since I bought a golf piston. Normally I would have picked one of these up from the Duke, but I checked his website and he was all out of the 266 piston. Seemed the only thing he had was a 268 open port, and people kind of bash these circlips or hate on them. I do think the tangs on some of them need trimmed, but in a second I guess we'll zoom you in and show you that the OEM circlip's the same damn thing. And let's pull the piston out and have a look. Really nice finish on that. See, these are almost similar to like what you would see in a closed port situation, but I just really like the design of this piston, and I know someone's going to say, well, that's probably heavier. Maybe. I bet it's not by much, but I'm not going to get a set of gram scales out here and measure it. I don't get into... I do lighten some pistons, but I don't get into gnawing away on pistons very much. You want to keep that structural integrity on something, you know, spinning 13,000, 14,000 RPMs, but that camera should be giving you a pretty good look at what you're going to get. There's not really any real sharp edges or anything on it, just as you can see, it's a pretty high quality piece. Let's have a look at this wrist pin and the fitment of it. That's something I like to check. Sometimes you'll get some of these aftermarket pistons that's so tight you have to drive the pin in and out, and I just don't like doing that. It's not good on the big end of the rod bearing, or in my experience it's not, but that's about what you want. It's a snug fit. It ain't completely loose. Some aftermarket pistons you get, they're just way too loose, and you just kind of wonder if it's going to blow apart or not. And again, some of them are way too tight. That one just seems to fit just right. Let's see if we can pull this off without getting too much in the way of the camera. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes they're a nightmare. These aren't the best pliers in the world either. That one's about out. It's just never been out of there, but it clips good and stiff. Honestly, I'd about rather reuse those than some of the aftermarket ones, and I have in a lot of cases dug around and got good OE clips. Now there's people that won't agree with that or think it's horrible, but again, in some cases I'd rather have those OE clips a 30-year-old set over some of the cheap Chinese stuff. And our OE piston, it ain't 100% perfect, but you know, it's good. It's good enough to reuse. You guys seen how well the saw ran, so yeah. And let's compare the pistons. Honestly guys, the transfer pockets on the pistons, is there really any difference in them? Very little at all. The main difference is our piston here comes all the way to the bottom. Again, I feel that gives a little more case compression, a little more charge. People might argue that. They're welcome to do that, but if we're putting more space back into the crankcase, how can you argue it? You know, here's what it is. And our wrist pin crown height and skirt depth is damn identical. Real nice. Really good fitment on that. Not too tight, not too sloppy. Again, those are made by JE. They make the pistons for golf, as you've seen in that little article on my phone I shown there. Quick Google search can find that. And lastly guys, as promised, let's double check our squish. Before on the other cylinder it's around 19 thou without the glue or anything. Glue does add a little, but it's not as much as some people let on. Unless they're really putting a big thick bead or something on it, I don't know, but that's an old clutch. Feels pretty tight, really. Because that's really thin solder. It's like 30 thou electrical solder. Smack dab on 19 thousandths exactly where the OEM piston was at. So again, I've ran a few of these. They seem to be really good pistons. Any one I've purchased and ran, you know, they're top notch with any other aftermarket piston. And for some reason, when you find them, there ain't a lot of places out there have them anymore. You know, we are talking a golf piston. Said that one came from HL Supply, and you know, typically I would have bought one of the Duke's moly coated pistons. Or every now and then you'll run across the highway that doesn't have a pop-up in it, and you know, they're 10-20 bucks cheaper than the piston with the pop-up, and we'll pick those up, or hell, I'll throw a Farmer Tech piston in them if it looks good. Some of those you get, they're kind of iffy and I don't like to use them, but you know, others you get, they look good. And unless you've got the compression jacked way up in the air trying to turn really high RPMs, those really cheap pistons sometimes are good enough to get you by and get you back going. But I paid for that with my own money. Wasn't sponsored or anything. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. You know, the next video we're going to get into the build. I ain't liking this busted fin on top of this. I'm probably half tempted. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know. Guys, I picked up some, these are 4" by 1" 60-61 chunks. I picked up 2 of those. Honestly, I could have put just a little more with it and got like a foot of it, but didn't want to have to fool with getting it cut completely square and just making it more of a nightmare than it was worth. But I've got to dig around, see if I've got a the proper spark plug tap for either the large plug or one of those small 10mm plugs. But I'm almost having thoughts of that, doing a removable head, doing a larger carburetor. I don't know, just it'd be so easy just to do like a hot woods poured on it and put a little time on it and then send it on down the line to somebody else. And more than likely it's probably the route I'm going to go, but do look forward to me attempting to make a removable head for a couple of saws. I've got my old original Wild Thing. I've got it apart. That's the one I bought like almost 20 years ago, and honestly. The 365 we done with all the black plastic. The whole top fin of that cylinder, unfortunately, was just smashed completely off of it, and I thought it'd be a perfect candidate to try to make a removable head for. But anyway, guys, we'll get into something more exciting in the next video. I've got a lot going on here and thought I'd just step in here, check that out, and shoot a video for you guys. But with that said, thank you all for supporting the channel, and everybody have a great day.